from the historic Ham Building in St. Paul, it's the Haberdasher's Couch. I'm Kendrick, inviting you to the show, starring Heimie and Dorset, featuring Todd Walker, also featuring Amye Scharlau. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Heimie.
Welcome to another show, the Haberdasher's Couch. We don't have to pay somebody to listen to it. I got a special guest here today, and we are so fortunate and lucky to have Robert Davis here, Mr. RL himself, who started a business called RighteousSouls, which taps into not only personal training, but health, well-being, mental health awareness, and get this, folks, bordering hip-hop, but ready-to-wear design, clothing line coming out. And he's here to talk to us about what life, love, and inspiration, life, love, and
mind, body, and soul.
Mind, body, and soul.
Mind, body, and soul.
Welcome aboard. So when we talk mental health in general, men don't, we're getting better at it, right?
Yeah. It's funny, the first time I saw a grown man cry was my dad.
Yeah.
And when my parents got divorced, my dad moved back to Texas. Mm-hmm. We used to have to spend summers there. And when we arrived, this man would cry like a baby. I'm like, it didn't compute that it was. And this is I'm 50,
young.
I'm 52.
No, but he was young.
He was young, but you got to figure that's in that early 80s where, I mean,
men didn't open up as much.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And we see, I think men are starting to talk about more what self-care is, what we think about health and well-being, which is exercise, eating right, good friends, meditation, all that stuff, right?
Right.
So tell me about RighteousSouls and what, I know that you went through life circumstance and you needed to make some changes. So you dug deep down inside, maybe reached out to your resources, and then you had a vision.
Well, I was raised in St. Paul, but born in Amarillo, Texas, so I have southern roots. Mm-hmm. And so my mother kind of has a southern background,
right?
A Baptist background, and you hear those church jargons like let go and let God. And those help, but after a while, it just, I'm sorry, I'm not a heathen or anything. Church never resonated with me, so those things were not affecting me. Mm-hmm. So I started looking at people I admire in life, and a lot of my heroes were dabbing in the Eastern different philosophies and things like that. So I tried meditating. That was tough, sitting there, and I mean, if you never sat still and was, it's a tough deal. So that started resonating and feeling good to me and making me really dig and do research. And I started going to visiting meditation centers and just.
What was it like for you when you, from a cultural perspective, you had church as a support system, family and friends possibly, right?
Right.
And so meditation, what it does is it slows us down, and we find a peace of mind, right? So we slow down and we listen.
And breathe.
Yeah.
And that's I don't want to get ahead of this podcast, but hopefully we talk about our mental health awareness event.
Coming up on May 4th.
May 4th, and one of the people there is we're going to have a breathing coach there. Mm-hmm. So people don't realize we just do it so naturally, but when you do it intentionally, and how it connects, and how it calms you down and calms your anxiety down, which, I grew up in the Rondo community, and you can imagine it's like
intense.
PTSD.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dale? Up in Dale?
Yeah, exactly.
I lived up there for a while, too.
Yeah, so, okay. So, if I had known these techniques and tools, and which I didn't get until, unfortunately, my divorce, and you go through the counseling and all that, and once that dissolved, I took an interest in seeing a one-on-one myself, and just those tools that I just didn't have and wasn't, it's not spoke in mainstream society.
Sure. I can imagine you know, when you're, my memories of the Rondo neighborhood, living there, it was always loud and on the go. There was things happening all the time, right? So to give yourself the space that you need, find the space that you need, and then have a conversation, you must have had to talk to yourself.
I mean, we don't have to, we can call Rondo what it was. I saw a lot. I saw drug activities, drug dealers. Yep. I saw murders. And then, you know, I graduated from Central High, which a beautiful school. I mean, just
that's where my parents graduated from.
Oh, okay. Yep. And I saw the arts there, saw creativity there, and Rondo was beautiful too. Right. I mean, it wasn't
home
just
is
those.
Home. Home is home.
Those elements I like.
Tell me what physical health, strength. So you grew up in a neighborhood. You gotta be tough, right? Is that where you connected with your physical self, or did you connect later on with your physical self? Were you overweight? Were you?
Well,
what was it
I think the first thing I connected with from there was mental, because you had to be mentally tough more than physically tough. Okay. Because I wasn't fighting, and so I like to talk my way out of situations, and you know, gain an advantage of, you know, let's not fight. Don't let me hit you.
You saw the importance of personal training as another release mechanism.
Yes.
So meditation is a release mechanism. Personal training is a release mechanism. Endorphins.
And I see where you're going.
And then lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
Right. So clothing, how we look, how we feel.
And just having people like that didn't look like my neighborhood, that I looked like a man. Like I come into your haberdashery, you look and present. So presentation was huge to me, and I remember going in Schindler's, looking at GQ and things like that, and I just looked at physiques and.
You got a reference point. And we all know that image is what kind of moves pop culture moves fashion creates image, you know, so it's how we feel inside.
You look, I mean,
is how it's going to look on the outside.
I remember my dad having a razor sharp crease in his jeans. I mean, he always dressed immaculate, and you know, if you look good, you feel good.
Right. You know, I grew up in a family. I was in clothing my whole life, right? And one of the emphasis is let people guess what you do, but you're going to look good, right? So when you look good, you carry yourself differently. People want to know what you do, who you are. When we don't take care of ourselves, both physically, mentally, spiritually, people notice that. So I say always, you take care of yourself first, the rest will follow, right?
So in the black culture, what is huge is sneaker culture in our hair. So if your sneakers and your hair ain't tight, you don't feel right, and plus the neighborhood's gonna clown you. Right. You know. So you want to feel good, you want to look good, and I just always admired how like if you see like Jim Brown and those black exploitation films, how those suits were perfectly cut. I mean, I'm like, I gotta get some traps, some muscles, and you know, you gotta fill it out, right? You gotta fill it out, right? And then you see Tyson Beckford in the early 90s.
It reminds me of all the Spike Lee films.
You know, my biggest inspiration in this fashion thing is my daughter now, who's taking an interest, and she's out in France doing her thing, and she sends me, Dad, you should look at this, you should look at that.
Right. So then let's just recap, because we got exercise, meditation, journaling, good friends, sleep and eating properly,
drinking water, and people don't realize that sleep is so big, and rest and recovery is so big in the physical fitness realm, because what people do when we go lift weights is we're breaking down the muscle. Right. So when I see people and they're like 5 and 6 days straight, I'm like, you gotta let your muscles rest. That's where the growth comes. Right. Yeah. Recovery. Good. You need rest. You need that.
That's actually a great metaphor. The body's actually a great metaphor for mental health, kind of, isn't it? Because if you work the muscle, that's a physical thing. There's a reaction, and then there's a rest period, right? And then the growth happens during the rest period. It's same with mental health.
Yes,
right.
And also the discipline.
Right. Just give me like 3 things that you are focused on, and then give a plug for your St. Louis Park event one more time.
Okay. What I'm focusing on is I discovered this book, Don't Believe Everything You Think. So I'm focused on stop thinking.
Okay.
Because thinking's almost like quicksand. The more you think, the more you can get paralysis through analysis, overanalyzing.
Right.
You won't start that business because you're overthinking it.
Right.
You won't take that trip because you're overthinking it.
Sure.
You won't start that new class or something because you're overthinking it.
1 page at a time, baby.
There you go.
It's 1 page at a time. Because you think you got to write the whole thing? It's just 1 page a day.
And you don't have to be perfect.
That's right.
You have to pursue perfection is a pursuit of it.
Personal trainer. Tell me, how can people get a hold of you?
I'm at a place called Fit Space in St. Louis Park. You can DM me through my socials.
Okay.
My website. You can also contact me.
Info at RighteousSouls.com.
Email me.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
You can email me. And it's all about connecting. Like the facility that I work out, we have a dietitian.
Okay.
We have a physical therapist. So
why don't we do it on location with you as a recap? I'll come out and shoot it.
Yeah.
And we'll show them. You can be my Righteous Soul guy. You can help.
Let's do that. Maybe you should come to the event and shoot.
I'll do it. We'll do it.
Come to the event.
You let me know. I'll be there.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks for coming in today. I really
Thanks
appreciate
for having me. I love that you're from St. Paul too. I love that.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Amye the Hypnotist here at beautiful Heimie's Haberdashery, and this is Coffee Talk. One of my clients came in the other day and asked, how do I take care of my mental health? And it actually is very important for mental health workers to take really good care of themselves. So you need to do all of the basics. You need to make sure that you get enough sleep. You need to make sure that you're eating in a healthy way, that you're spending time outside and spending time with friends. Now, one of the things that can happen with mental health workers is that they can get vicarious or secondary trauma. Now, secondary trauma is when you hear a story and it really affects you and you start having some of the same trauma symptoms. And vicarious trauma is even more inclusive than that. It can actually affect your entire world view. So if you're noticing that you are not getting enough sleep, that you're tired all the time, or you're depressed, or you're cranky, or you are not able to concentrate, these are signs that you're starting to get burned out if you are in the caring industries. Now, what can you do? Like I said, it is all about self-care. If you need to take some time away from your job to take care of yourself, make sure you take your vacations. Make sure you take your days off. Make sure that you spend time with friends. And if you need to, do not be afraid to reach out and actually get a mental health practitioner of your own. You would be surprised at how many of your counselors, how many of your nurses, how many of your firefighters are reaching out and actually seeing counselors of their own. It is not anything to be embarrassed about. So I'm advocating that everyone out there, even if you're doing even if you're just caretaking a loved one and you're not doing it professionally, be self-aware. Make sure that you're not getting burned out and drained down, because they need you and you need you too. And that, my friends, is Coffee Talk.